No, I didn't see it coming. I do know that Elon is very much based on, not doing anything that enriches himself, and also, sticking to the principles of that of the whole thing. And unfortunately, in politics, there's give and take. You can't just get everything your way. In other words, to allow certain things for the other side, which you may not want to, but you have to, otherwise you won't get their vote. So, yeah, it's a difficult one all round. And with all this stress of the last 5 months, it just reached boiling point. And at that point, it, sort of blew its top. That's all. It's not rocket science. It's just one of those things that people go through. There's just the two of them left in the arena. So they're still in the clear the opposition mode. And that's got to change. They've got to start seeing each other's point of view. It's as simple as that. And as you say, I know that Elon has tremendous support. People believe in Elon because they believe that Elon will not compromise his principles for the sake of either enriching himself or getting something, sort of the wrong way. But at the same time, politics is one of those things that, it's a very deep pool. It has no sides. It has no bottom. You just keep swimming until you sink. And Churchill has found that, and all the top politicians in the world have found that. So it's a question of give and take. And at the present time, I do believe that Elon is feeling a little, concerned about the way things have gone, and he would like to reach out to Trump. And I have heard that Trump says no, but that simply would suggest on Trump's side that he has something to hide, you might say. And so if Trump is the man I think he is, he should, in fact, invite Elon back in, and he should say to Elon, whatever it is that's concerning you so much, let's see what we can do. As far as you mentioned something about, Epstein files and stuff like that, I'm not a great holy roller or anything, but Jesus put it rather simply when he said, let those who are innocent cast the first stone. So, we all at times make mistakes. I don't think your whole life should be determined by something that you made a mistake on at some point in time. That's ridiculous. So I don't know why that's even being talked about. Why they don't just get together and Trump says to Elon, look, let's see what it is that's bothering you. Mm-hmm. Let's see what we can do about it. Let's see if we can improve things. 5 months of intense stress, that has been somewhat knocked off the rails after the Biden administration. And, suddenly it boils up to a point like we all do at times. And then you come up with all sorts of crazy ideas. Mm-hmm. Let's do this, let's do that, Some of the ideas might be good, but no, I don't think this is the thing you want to do at this stage. What you want to do at this stage is reconcile, find out what it is that, is there anything we can do that would make it better, mm-hmm. For Elon? Not to say you do it, but at least talk about it and, get Elon back in the fold. And for Trump to say he doesn't want to do that is wrong. He needs to also realize that, not everyone is in full agreement with him, and he needs to, accommodate those people. Here's a launch of the Starship about 12 months ago. It was a very good launch, very successful launch. After the launch at the after party for the SpaceX employees, very nice after party for about 200 odd people, Elon stopped the goings on and said to everyone, "This is my dad. He taught me everything I know about engineering." And I, countered that by saying, no, of course you taught yourself a lot. But no, in families and fathers and sons, you have your ups and downs. The break that occurred with me and Elon was that in early 2000s, Elon insisted that I come and live in the United States. I brought my second wife with me, and she didn't like it at all. And so we returned, leaving everything we had behind. And Elon and Kimball, my other son, said they're never going to talk to us again for leaving the United States like that. And that was the so-called estrangement. Subsequent to that, when I turned 70, Elon and Kimball brought about 50 people over to the Cape Town, where I live, for my 70th birthday from Hollywood, mostly from Hollywood. And at this particular lunch, the Hollywood producer, John Favreau, said to me, this was just prior to the 2016 election, we believe you support Trump. And I said, yes, I do. And this brought everybody down onto the floor almost with laughter. And then they said to me, well, why do you support Trump? And I said, well, I think he's not a career politician. He's a good man. He's a businessman. We need that in politics. And they all laughed and said, no, he's a con man. He's bad. He's no good, and so forth, And, left me feeling rather embarrassed. And also Elon and Kimball feeling rather embarrassed. And afterwards, my son said to me, why couldn't I simply say I don't know, and I've embarrassed them, and, Trump is a bad man. And at that time, they were totally taken in by the left-wing media, Elon and Kimball, and they changed afterwards. But at that time, they were completely taken in by the left-wing media. And they said to me, Trump is a bad man. He's not a good man, and I'm a bad man for even supporting him, And so we went off on a bad footing after that so-called birthday party. And but as time went by, and the Biden administration started their things, my sons changed completely. They did a complete 180 turnaround and said, no. They realized now that Trump is right in everything, and that country.
Well, in a sense, then, listening to what you've just...
we had the odd talk about something or other, but I think Elon did a very good job. There was a lot of waste being, and still a lot of waste in not only in the American government, in many governments, and my attitude to Elon was, when you do take down some of these departments, bear in mind people are losing their jobs. So do not, do it with a sort of. My advice to Elon was, do not do it with any sort of smug satisfaction. I mean, you are causing people a lot of grief, even though it's necessary to do it. But I think things were going very well until this bill came out. And as Elon said, when he saw the bill, he, and take him at his word, he's a very straightforward sort of person, Elon. There's too much pork in it. In other words, there's too much freebies for the wrong people. And that's like totally, we're going back to the same thing. Well, why are we going back to the same thing? We need to get away from this. We need to purify our country and not go back to this freebie that's driving us into uncontrollable debt every year. And that's where the problem started. And people start, when they're under a great deal of stress, which they have been for months now, and it's very easy to trigger someone over the top and have people start returning jibes at each other worse and worse each time. So it's not over the, it's not unhealable. Trump needs to, I believe Elon has made an effort to say, look, I'd like to talk. Trump needs to say, come in, Elon, let's talk. Let's see what it is. What maybe we can do things that will satisfy you. That's what I think should happen.
Errol, can you walk around, as Elon certainly can't, but as Errol Musk, can you go around incognito?
My attitude to Elon was, when you do take down some of these departments, bear in mind people are losing their jobs. So do not, do it with a sort of. My advice to Elon was, do not do it with any sort of smug satisfaction. I mean, you are causing people a lot of grief, even though it's necessary to do it. But I think things were going very well until this bill came out. And as Elon said, when he saw the bill, he, and take him at his word, he's a very straightforward sort of person, Elon. There's too much pork in it. In other words, there's too much freebies for the wrong people. And that's like totally, we're going back to the same thing. Well, why are we going back to the same thing? We need to get away from this. We need to get away from this. We need to purify our country, and not go back to this freebie that's driving us into uncontrollable debt every year. And that's where the problem started. And people start, when they're under a great deal of stress, which they have been for months now, and it's very easy to trigger someone over the top, and have people start, returning jibes at each other worse and worse each time. So it's not over the, it's not unhealable. Trump needs to, I believe Elon has made an effort to say, look, I'd like to talk. Trump needs to say, come in, Elon, let's talk. Let's see what it is. What maybe we can do things that will satisfy you. That's what I think should happen. Improving. We have to get into the study of gravity, and I know it sounds crazy, but space-time travel. We have to move ahead. We have to move along. We can't stay in this. Otherwise, this century is going to be a dead century. We're going to be on the road with cars in 100 years from now. If we want to do what we see in the films, where you go up in the air and simply rise up to the space station and so forth, we're going to have to understand gravity. And at the moment, very little is being done to study gravity and space-time travel. In fact, 100 years ago, nearly all the major mathematicians were studying space-time and gravity. And for some reason, after about, the first quarter century in the 1900s, it somehow was no longer fashionable. But it is something that we have to get back to. And we have a lot of quality papers to go back to that were written in those days. I would like to change the way we look at this whole thing and do it the way we do it in the movies. And that is, moving to Mars should be a 5-minute exercise,